So I have my coffee, and it's early, and it's June. So I just wanted to give you guys another tour of the micro homestead and show you guys what it has grown since our last tour. If you're new around here, then hi, I'm Kiri, and I'm a micro homesteader. And on this channel, we talk about all things micro homesteading, from growing outdoors in the garden to growing indoors hydroponically, and other ways you can become more self-sufficient and less reliant on the grocery store. But today, it's time for a tour. And guys, this is exactly where I sat for the very first video that I shot on this channel. And so much has changed since then. The amount that I've learned in growing in the garden, the amount the garden has changed, the extra beds that I've put in. And I'm pretty sure a year from now, I'm going to be saying the same thing, that things have changed even more. But anyways, let's get on with the tour. So less talking, more showing. So out front in the bed, all of the onions all around the outside are growing amazing. Peppers are doing okay. We had a massive storm, like absolutely massive. These are all the potatoes and they are getting ready to flower. But all of these were completely laid flat. And some of the peppers took a beating. This poor guy lost a couple of his tops. This is a gypsy pepper, and look at that beautiful purple flower. I actually have a couple that have purple flowers, which is a first for me. We also have a couple of dwarf tomatoes out here. And then once the potatoes come out, I'm actually gonna try and do a second batch of potatoes. We have some more purple flowers. I actually don't remember what that one is. It might be a Tunisian pepper. This one is my jigsaw pepper. It's supposed to have amazing variegation. Not seeing a huge amount of that on the leaves yet, but hopefully it'll keep going. More potatoes over here on the edge, this one, and here too. These are actually ones I missed last year with the great potato fiasco. I tried to keep it more contained this year, and it was better, but we still have some stragglers and one volunteer mammoth sunflower. Jason is still out here guarding the garden. Over here, we have some chives, my sage. The bees just love the blossoms on the sage. We have my blackberry. I actually lost a piece of this. It's lying down over there in the storm. These are all my sunflowers out here. We went to launcher that volunteered. And then in here, if I can find any, this is my pineberry patch. And I've actually, I'll put a link up above to the pineberry video. And here we go, if I can take you guys in there. That's it, they're white with red seeds. It says that they taste like pineapples. I find that they're more of a tangy strawberry, but we'll see. I'm gonna keep growing them and see if they grow on me more. Well, here's a nicer one to show you guys. Yeah, that's my pineberry. And over here with a wicked lean on it is all of my strawberry popcorn. I'm gonna try and get the sunflowers braced up, and then hopefully then I can get the corn growing a little straighter. All right, I need to grab my coffee and we'll go around the side. All right. So this used to be the strawberry bed, but I'm turning it into the raspberry bed. So some of these ones over here are some of the red raspberries I dug out of the backyard. And then over here, we have two new additions that I'm really excited about. These are black raspberries, Rubus occidentalis, and I actually got them from Ontario Plants, I think it was. But yeah, it's all native Ontario plants. I'm really excited to have these growing, and I'll show you guys some of the other things I got from them as well. We have some rhubarb in needs of being tamed, and then my mint, and some of my grapes. These ones are a bit younger, so we don't have any grapes on yet. But guys, okay, first of all, I love my sign. Second of all, look how amazing the grapes are looking. Some grapes there. There's so many on it this year. And all of them up there. We're eventually going to build some kind of like pergola that goes across and over where the rhubarb is. But we're not there yet, and that's okay. It's all a work in progress. Coffee down here. So here I still have some seedlings. I have some asparagus. Still a bunch of tomatoes to find homes for. I also have some of these goji berries. It looks like rosemary, but it's actually black goji berries, which I'm growing for the first time. Some sage I dug up, and a whole bunch more peppers. I'm gonna actually put some of these in my new green stock. I got my new metal bed in, and here's some more that I got from the Ontario Native Plants. So this is the low bush blueberry, which I love. So these guys are brand new, and hopefully we will get food from them for many years to come. I moved the ginger from my ginger growing machine outside, and we have some new sprouts coming up, so it seems to be happy. We have some, pretty sure this one's hyssop, and then some cilantro, a couple bushels of that, some yarrow, more ginger, echinacea in the middle. There's a couple of tomatoes. In the back, there's some more hyssop and some feverfew. And then around here, we have some oregano and some garlic chives. So the idea is this is supposed to be the medicinal herb bed. So we'll just have to wait to get growing. I did stuff a couple of tomatoes and peppers in there this year because, well, I just needed to put them somewhere. The last thing I got from the Ontario Native Plants with this guy, it's elderberry. I just wanted to try growing this. Oh, I can hear a chirping sparrow. I just wanted to try growing them, so I have two. I'm gonna do one on the ground and one in a container to see if they grow differently. Here is my first green stalk. This one is the leaf. I have everything from, these are wasabi radishes. This is chamomile. I have celery, beans, dill. This is plantain. I have Thai basil, more radishes. There's some cumin there. All my lettuces down at the bottom. There is some, whoop, dill's in the way. There's some lettuce leaf basil, some chard. There's pretty much everything in this thing. I'm really loving it. I still have to get the other ones set up. So this one, like I said, is the leaf. I have two of the originals. One is going to be for the strawberries, which I'll show you in a second, which need to get in there like a while ago. And the other one I'm going to put the peppers in. So far so good. I'll do more on the green stalk as I grow with it more, but so far I like it. Over here, this is what I am calling the done is better than perfect bed. So there was supposed to be a third raised bed, 12-foot long raised bed here. Then the price of wood went up, life got in the way. It didn't happen, and I kept waiting and kept waiting and kept waiting. And I had all these tomato plants just getting stunted. And I'm like, you know what? We're gonna do this. So I just used some of the cardboard that I would normally put on the ground anyways when I'm planting, and kind of used it to control the dirt so that I could later on just put the wood right around it. So we have a couple of tomatoes, some basil, some lemon drop, watermelons, one sad looking Kajari melon, and over there in the corner we have a honey nut squash. Moving over here, we have some more tomatoes. There are some red torch sunflowers and some tears of job. Those are the ones that look like corn. We have a little delicata squash I stuffed in there. And over here we have some pickling cucumbers. Oh, and I have my Okinawa bitter melon over there. Some red slippery silks beans and a noir de carme. And oh, all the birds are out this morning. Now there's a cardinal. Wonder if we'll get to see him. So I'm moving right along. Here I am trying out some of the same raspberries that I dug out that I moved around the side. I've got them in a container with some goji berries. I'm in love with the crimson clover. Growing it as a cover crop just to try it out in this one container. And if for nothing else, these things are beautiful and the bees love them. So just letting these flower for a bit. I did stuff a Napa cherry tomato in there, so we'll see how he does. This, if you've been following along, was the Battle Royale pit from last year. So funny enough, the chives were the first ones to come back. The lemon balm did reseed, and I'm shocked to say the oregano was gone. I have stuffed in here I think it's Zappalito squash. So we'll see how that one does. Here we have the ginger growing machine, which is still gingering, which is awesome. We have some of my kiwis right here. I actually potted some of them up into this pot. Have some borage, some lemon trees my mom grew from seed. Some beans just ready to pop in when there's space. These are my poor dwarfed little strawberries that need to get out of here ASAP. I think there's another hyssop, I want to say. I can't, honestly, I don't remember. Labeling was not my forte this year. In here we have the gorgeous buckwheat, another cover crop, just playing around with those. Some sugar pumpkins that I'm trying to trail up the cattle panel arch. As always, if you want to know how to build these, I will put the link to where we built them up above. We have some of the red curry squash, some tomatoes. Now, the tomatoes that I put down the center here, they are all dwarf tomatoes. The reason for that is I'm going to build a small polytunnel over this, or that's the plan for the winter. So I want to see how far into the winter I can extend the growing season with these guys in the polytunnel. So I wanted some dwarf varieties here so they would not get too tall. We have some onions from last year that are all flowering. We're still eating these. They don't store as well once they've gone to seed, but I am gonna actually save some of these for seed. We have some gorgeous borage. This is the blue borage. This one that's lagging behind a bit is the white borage, which is my first time growing that, which I'm pretty excited about. This is some more raspberries, some tarragon that I dug up that I have to plant again, horseradish that I dug out of the lawn because it's extremely invasive. We'll get to the horseradish in a second. And before we show any more, honestly, my delphiniums, I am so in love with these. I am going to be saving seeds because look at the color on these. They're just stunning. Got some more raspberries in pots. I really want to see if these are going to overwinter, so I did a couple of them in different size pots just to kind of get an idea. These are a lot of the tomatoes that were supposed to go in the bed that doesn't exist. So they're in pots. They're not perfect. Some of them are stunted. But I will get some food. I will not get as much as if they had gone into the ground, but done is better than perfect. So here, we're just gonna take a look at this splash of cream tomato. I just wanna show you guys. It is a variegated plant, and y'all know I love variegation. But the thing that just gets me is how the stem is variegated. Like, it's just so cool. But so we have that guy with some little fruits on. We have a nice big brandywine over there. What else do I have in here? I do have labels on them somewhere, if I can find it. So that one there is a Dad Sunset, which has a stout stem on it. Like, this is probably the biggest stem out of any of the tomatoes I've grown. This one here is my Lucky Tiger. That was the surprise hit of last year, so growing that again. Here we have the Thornburns Terracotta. And then this is Paul Robeson in this pot. This one over here is the Sartre Louise, which I was so excited to have. Now let's take a look at the beds. So this is a miniature spaghetti squash growing in there. I have some alliums. These are alliums, the flower, not actual onions to eat. This is to bring in pollinators. I had some of the most gorgeous poppies, but none of them I don't think are open right now. It's more of the buckwheat. We have radishes in here, which were all multi-sown, but they've been picked a lot. Tomatoes, some calendula, another variegated tomato, some of the Thai dwarf frog. I think it's a teeny tiny round eggplants. The overwintered onions. This is one of the ones I'm going to be saving the seeds from. I honestly don't remember what this is. Some kind of brassica. I'm gonna have to go look back at the few plans I did. A fish pepper with a variegation already starting on it. Another variegated tomato. Oh, and another one. Some basil and more calendula, another tomato, and then some kale. Here's the offending horseradish in a giant pot, which you can see A has a thistle in front of it, which I need to take out, and B is on a patio stone because before it was on the ground and it decided to grow through the drainage holes and into my lawn, which is where the other horseradish came from. I have some gorgeous looking blueberries here. These are gonna go in another raised bed. These are all the strawberries that came out of the tiny raspberry bed. They all got moved in here. They're companion planted with my asparagus. This is some year 1 asparagus, so we're not going to harvest it, which is why it's all gone to ferns. And then we won't harvest it next year, and we can harvest in the 3rd year. More of this gorgeous sage flowers. The garlic, which all of these scapes need to be cut off. They always make me think of swans. Well, maybe not this one. They usually kind of curl around like this one here. Just looks like a swan's neck, so I'm gonna cut them just about here. And then these you can actually use for cooking. If I didn't cut it, this would turn into a flower like we saw on the onions, and it just takes the strength away from the bulb. So we're gonna cut these off so the plant puts all its energy into producing big garlic bulbs. Some more overwintered onions. Really went hard into those last year. We have some carrots that mostly seem to be growing outside of the bed, which is fine. These are all the onions that I grew from seed this year. I don't know if you can see, but right in between the onions, we have some wee baby carrots that are starting. I tried a new way to sow carrots this year. So far, I'm really liking it. I'm gonna be putting in some more and I'll show you guys how I did it. But yeah, very happy with the germination on the carrots. Then I think we will go over into, this was just the old garden, and I just planted in here. There are lots of weeds, but again, I'm just really trying to be stuck on the done is better than perfect, because otherwise, guys, none of this would be done because I would be analysis paralysis and just fretting over it. So we'll see what we get. I got plans for this for next year. So we have some of the Hopi blue corn here, and we're gonna be milling, assuming we get any corn. I think one might be a Romanesco, and one is a cabbage. I honestly don't remember. These are ones I actually did from the winter sowing. I'll put a link up above to that video. Didn't love it, but it served a purpose. I have some celery, and one of them is a celeriac. This is Beet Central, which did have some damage from leaf miners, but they seem to be recovering. Really should have put some row covers on it, but I didn't. Some radishes over there, some loads more onions. There's a hollyhock and a sunflower in the back. One wee tomato over there. This one is a volunteer, and then all of these. Okay, so if you watched any of my garden tours from last year, I had a giant parsnip here. I let it go to seed just to talk about seed saving of the biennials, which is what a parsnip is. It gives you seeds in the 2nd year, so it has to overwinter. So are carrots biennial, and some of the carrots you can kind of see in there are from the carrot seeds that fell down, which can be hard to germinate. But not these guys. These ones did amazing, and they're everywhere. They're in the bed, out of the bed. And I don't even like parsnips, but my mom and dad do, so that's who's going to get most of these. Canterbury bells. Okay, this is my 1st year growing them. Well, technically this is my 2nd year, because this is a biennial plant too. So last year I just had greens, and this year, holy cow, guys. I really want to do an English cottage garden to bring in pollinators, and these are going to be in it. So I just found these ones over here. It's another color. It's almost like the purple and the white mixed. We have some more blueberries because I love those. My little apple tree. So it is covered in leaves and so far looking pretty healthy. So I'm very, very happy with that. Okay guys, so that's pretty much it for the garden tour. It's not even 7:30 in the morning and it is already getting so muggy out here. So I'm going to head back inside for a little bit. I really hope that you guys enjoyed the garden tour to see how things have grown and changed in the last month. If you want to see what my garden went through in an entire year, I did a time lapse compressing the entire year into 5 minutes, and you can check that out in that video over here. And given that it is almost July, if you want some ideas of some things to plant in July, you can check out this video up here. So until next time, don't forget to enjoy the little things and go out there and make food grow. Bye guys.